Landman Season 2, Episode 4 trailer just dropped, and trust me, it is absolutely wild. The stakes are getting higher, the villains are sharpening their claws, and the lines between loyalty and betrayal are blurring fast. If you thought things were intense before, buckle up, because this episode is about to push Tommy's world into chaos like never before. There's no turning back now. From the moment the trailer opens, you can feel the tension thickening in the air. The calm before the storm is gone. Every frame pulses with the promise of conflict and heartbreak. Tommy's already on thin ice, but this episode makes it crystal clear that he's skating on a razor's edge now. The man who just stepped onto the scene isn't just any villain. He's a force of nature, methodical and merciless. His presence alone sends ripples through Tommy's life, threatening to unravel everything he's built, piece by fragile piece. What's gripping about this trailer is how it doesn't just focus on the big explosions and showdowns. It digs deep into the quiet moments where the pressure builds and characters crack under the weight of secrets and lies. Cammy's turmoil becomes even more apparent here, as she's caught between grief, suspicion, and the crushing responsibility of protecting what her late husband left behind. The way the trailer teases her lunch with Morell is chilling. There's a predator-prey game playing out, and you can feel the invisible strings Morell is pulling. He's not just some straightforward antagonist. He's a chess player, using manipulation and power to try and control not just Tommy, but his very family and mind. The slow burn of this psychological warfare adds a new layer of suspense that hooks you in deeper than just the physical battles. Tommy's world is getting invaded on every front, and Angela's role becomes even more complicated and uncomfortable this episode. Twice, she tries to pull Tommy into moments that feel loaded with more than just casual intention. And if you've been following this series, you know exactly how loaded that feels. It's like she's a ticking bomb, with motives tangled up in the chaos swirling around them. Meanwhile, the looming presence of Galeno, or should I say Danny Morell, casts a long, dark shadow. His slick confidence and cold words cut right through the tension, revealing a man who's not just in this for money or power, but is playing a long game that's personal and dangerous. The line where he tells Tommy, "Every time you take a breath, you owe me," doesn't just sting, it echoes like a threat that can't be ignored. This trailer isn't holding back on showing us that this season isn't about simple good guys and bad guys. The lines are blurry, the players complex, and the consequences brutal. Watching Tommy get cornered, manipulated, and pushed to his limits makes you wonder, how much can one man survive before everything collapses? The trailer ends with a hint of what's coming next, secrets about Monty's past, alliances tested, and the deadly game Morell is orchestrating behind the scenes. If Episode 3 was the calm before the storm, Episode 4 looks like the storm itself, with lightning striking in every direction. You can't look away, because every second feels like a countdown to disaster. The deeper you get into the trailer, the more it feels like the walls are closing in on Tommy and everyone around him. One of the most gripping elements is how the personal and the business collide in such a messy, unpredictable way. Cammy's character, already burdened with grief and suspicion, is pushed even further into a corner. The lunch scene with Morell isn't just about business. It's a tense psychological battle where every word, every glance carries weight. Morell's attempt to position himself as her savior, the investor who can pull MTechs out of the chaos, is dripping with ulterior motives. Calling Tommy a snake under his breath and then labeling himself as the hawk hunting it, it's a cold metaphor that cuts deep, setting the stage for a war that's as much about mind games as it is about money and power. Cammy's struggle here is heartbreaking because it's not just about saving a company, it's about choosing between loyalty to a man she loved and the harsh reality of survival. Will she hold on to the memory of Monty, or will Morell's influence sway her into turning against Tommy? The trailer doesn't make it clear, and that uncertainty ratchets up the suspense. Meanwhile, Tommy is visibly worn down. The trailer captures moments where you can see the weight of the threats bearing down on him. Not just physical danger, but the emotional strain of feeling betrayed by the people closest to him. Angela's push to move the family into a new mansion in Fort Worth is another piece of this puzzle. It's less about comfort and more about control, a move that Tommy doesn't want but can't seem to avoid. The tension between them is subtle but charged, like a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. And then there's Morell's wife, Bella, who makes her presence known in a way that raises even more questions about alliances and loyalty. The scene where the five of them sit together, Tommy, Angela, Cammy, Morell, and Bella, feels like a powder keg just waiting for a spark. Underneath the polite conversation and forced smiles, you can see Morell's calculating gaze, noting who can be used, who can be broken. It's a reminder that in this world, trust is fragile and betrayal is always lurking. The trailer gives us just enough to feel the pressure mounting, but holds back enough to keep us guessing. What secrets is Morell hiding? How far will he go to get what he wants? And what will Tommy have to sacrifice to survive? This episode promises to deliver more than just action. It's about the slow unraveling of alliances, the brutal realities of power, and the personal cost of the games these characters are forced to play. It's wild, it's intense, and it's exactly what Landman fans have been waiting for. What really makes this episode stand out is how it dives into the emotional fallout for Tommy and those around him. The trailer hints at moments where you see Tommy trying to hold everything together, but the cracks are starting to show. His world isn't just collapsing because of external threats, it's breaking from the inside out. The pain of losing Monty, the pressure of protecting MTEX, and the constant manipulation from Morell all pile up, creating a storm that's almost impossible to weather. And then there's the heartbreaking reality of family caught in the crossfire. Tommy's relationship with Angela feels more strained than ever. The trailer teases scenes where their attempts at connection are overshadowed by distrust and conflicting agendas. Angela pushing for the big move to Fort Worth isn't just about a new house, it feels like a power play, a way to control the narrative and tighten her grip on Tommy's life. And Tommy's reaction, calling their life one big tragic cartoon, isn't just a throwaway line. It's a raw, honest moment that captures the frustration and hopelessness building inside him. On the flip side, Cammy's journey this episode is deeply compelling. The trailer shows her wrestling with the legacy Monty left behind and the harsh truth about his secrets. The discovery that MTEC's finances are tangled in shell companies and shady credit lines isn't just a plot twist, it's a symbol of how unstable everything really is. Cammy's anger and grief feel genuine, especially when she confronts Monty's lawyer and finally lets loose. It's a moment where you can't help but root for her, even if things around her are falling apart. And that lawyer's dismissive attitude only adds fuel to the fire. His cold, "he didn't owe you an explanation" line is infuriating, and Tommy's violent response feels completely justified. The tension between loyalty, justice, and survival is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Meanwhile, the subtle but intense power moves from Morell continue to stand out. The way he watches from across the room, always calculating, always waiting, makes him feel like a spider